Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial on how to create a custom mech. I decided to make this video because I was playing a skirmish game when I ran across an opponent who didn't know how to make a custom mech. So here we are. So first of all, choose skirmish, don't choose campaign. Then you choose the mech bay, not the multiplayer or single player. Hit mech bay, and then instead of the lances tab, you choose the mechs tab. Here in the mechs tab, you highlight one of these mechs, right? The mech that you want, right? You scroll through them, or maybe you go and whatever, de-highlight, deselect a bunch of mechs, and then you choose a mech, and then you'll see that there are three buttons here. The delete and edit is grayed out, but if you hit the copy, you'll be able to create a copy of the mech and edit the mech. For example, I have a custom Kentaro right here. So once you've made a custom Kentaro, it'll say Kentaro copy, and you can delete it, you can edit it, you can make another copy. But this is the stock mech. This is the stock Kentaro, and the delete and the edit button is grayed out. You can't delete your stock mech, and you can only copy it. And once you copy it, you are able to edit it, and you're able to customize it. So I wanted to go over very quickly what I consider to be a good mech for customizing. In my opinion, the best mechs are mechs with a lot of energy hardpoints and a lot of missile hardpoints. Now there are other mechs that have other advantages that are valuable in my opinion. For example, the Shadowhawk has an advantage for some reason. I guess because the Shadowhawk sucks so much that the game designer decided to give it some advantages. So it's very good at melee. It does extra damage. It does the melee performance is 6 as opposed to a Kentaro, and they're both 55-ton mech. A Kentaro only has 5 melee bars. So I know the Shadowhawk from experience does 85 points of damage, melee damage, and also has 1 support weapon hardpoint, whereas the Kentaro has no support weapons hardpoint. There are other mechs that are really good, like for example the Centurion. One of the Centurions have a 3 support weapon hardpoint. Sure, it's only got 5, melee. Much like the Kentaro, it's got 5, but this is a 50-ton, and it has 3 support weapons. So 3 small lasers, that's 60 points of damage. That's pretty good. Granted, it's going to be scattered all over. So in terms of melee, the Shadowhawk's still pretty good. Still kind of valuable in as a melee mech, but still, nevertheless, not my kind of mech. Not the mech that I like. Not the kind of mechs that I like to use. I personally prefer mechs with a lot of energy hardpoints, a lot of missile hardpoints. For example, hunchbacks. This hunchback, 8 energy hardpoint. That's really nice. Ballistic hardpoints, not so much. Not what I like. So let's check it out. So let's create a custom mech. So this was the let's create a custom mech. Okay, so this is the stock Kentaro. So I just made a copy of the stock Kentaro. So so first of all, before we go into modifying this mess, let's look at ballistic weapons. Why I think ballistic weapons are not that great. Well, let's look at the AC-10. AC-10 does 60 points of damage. but it costs 12 tons. That is not tonnage weight efficient. That's not weight efficient at all. The AC-20 is slightly more weight efficient. It's 14 tons for 100 points of damage. Still relatively not not weight efficient, because 4 medium lasers will do 100 points of damage. Granted, it's scattered, and the single hit of 100 points of damage is more combat effective than 4 scattered 25 points of damage that is spread all over the place, right? But still, it's 4 tons as opposed to 14 tons. That's a huge difference. So in my opinion, AC2 is trash. 6 tons for 25 damage, just trash. AC5, slightly better than trash. Now, if you add on the fact that it's got minimum range, 90 meters, not a big deal, 90 meters, but the AC2 with its 120 meter minimum range, it's just crap, utter crap. So AC5, a little better. AC10, I think it's almost a downgrade, because it's extra 4 tons, 50% more weight for, well, it's 33% more damage. Just terrible. I mean, the only thing going is it doesn't have a minimum range. So, but AC20 doesn't have a minimum range. AC20 has the same range as a medium laser, which is where most of combat takes place. So the range advantage that you get from AC5 or AC2 or AC10s, they hardly matter. They just almost do not matter, especially in multiplayer when you're playing against other players. You want weapon damage efficiency, and if anything, you may want to have one of your mechs have an AC20, but no more than one. If you have a bunch of mechs with AC20s, I think you're gonna lose. That's just my opinion, because your weapons are not damage efficient. Your mechs are not damage efficient, so you won't be able to carry a lot of other weapons if you have an AC20 on. Especially since you're gonna have to have like at least 1 ton of ammo, 5 shots. Quite honestly, you want 10 shots, because you may not be able to destroy an enemy in 5 rounds. But anyways, so I simply don't care much about autocannon weapons, especially in multiplayer. So instead, what I like is energy weapons and missile weapons. But before we do anything, less max armor. So this is something I like to do, is max armor. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of tonnage. It won't allow you to max armor beyond your max tonnage. So I need to strip equipment. Before I do that, I just want to point out that an LRM5 is just not terribly useful. You don't want an LRM5. If you're gonna go with LRM, you want LRM 15s, and you're gonna want because you want like 2 of them. If you have 5, you can have LRM5s, 5 LRM5s, but that's just not terribly. That's just not a whole lot of damage. That's very, very little damage. So you want like 2 LRM-15s at least. Oh, that's 60. That's 60 missiles. 5 LRM-5s will only give you 25. And also, in my opinion, SRMs are much more effective than LRMs. They are not only slightly weight-wise more efficient, but also because SRMs do 8 points of damage per hit as opposed to 4 points of damage, they are more efficient. Also, when you're using LRMs have a minimum range, 180 meter minimum range. People can run up to you and your LRMs will be useless. So LRM's not terribly good weapon. And even when you're at long range, your LRMs will do less damage because your accuracy will be lower. Because most likely what you're going to do is you're going to have set up a lance where you have one pilot that's a sensor guy. He's going to do sensor lock, and then your 3 other mechs are going to do LRM launches. But when you do that, you're doing LRM indirect fire, and you suffer a penalty to do that. So your to hit is going to be lower. And on top of that, since it's going to be range damage, your opponent is probably going to be guarding. So you're probably going to do 2 points of damage, like half damage, because they're guarding. And even if you successfully knock down one of the mechs, if they happen to be in like forest and wooded terrain, they'll still receive the 25% damage reduction bonus from being in the forest or whatever. So you launch missiles and it does 3 points of damage each, and so you're doing very little damage at long range, and in short range you're just not going to hit because of your LRM minimum range. So LRM not very effective. So you want SRMs or medium lasers. So first of all, let's strip all the equipment. We're gonna max armor. Armor is critical. So one thing I want to mention, a mech with a lot of armor is a lot harder to deal with than a mech with significantly less armor, like let's say half armor. A mech with full armor just takes forever to kill. So and it increases your combat effectiveness tremendously. Armor, so don't underestimate armor and think, oh, I can pack another laser or a better weapon or a bigger weapon. No, not. You want to have max or near max armor. You can get away with less armor in the back, and you can get away with less armor in the legs, but generally you want the rest of it to be full armor, especially the forward torsos, forward right torso, forward left torso, forward center torso. You want them to have max armor. After that you want the arms, but arms are not quite as important as the center torsos. And after that you want the legs and the back armor you can reduce somewhat, because legs don't get hit much, and back armor, unless you are not careful or they specifically maneuver into your back, if they do that, that also means they are vulnerable to your maneuvers, obviously. So your back armor you can sacrifice a little bit, but okay, let's get back to weapons. So medium lasers, those are the most effective energy weapons. You have 2 medium lasers, two energy weapon points, hard points. So let's put 2 medium lasers there, just as the stock mech had, and then let's go on to missiles. So for missiles, SRM-4s are the most efficient SRM, and SRMs are more efficient than LRMs and more effective than LRMs. In general, SRMs, if you fire them, they tend to hit, will be more likely to hit than LRMs, because LRM, you're often doing LRM indirect fire where you suffer a penalty, or you're closer than minimum range, so you suffer a penalty for that minimum range. So SRM much more effective, and SRM-4s are more heat efficient than SRM-2s or SRM-6, because you can see 6 heat for 2 SRM. That's 16 damage. So double that damage and you only add 2 heat. and then add 50%, add two more missiles, and it's 6 more heat. So it's not very heat efficient. So SRM4s are actually the most heat efficient of the lot, and they are the same in terms of tonnage. So 1 ton for every 2 missiles. So 3 tons for SRM6 and 2 tons for SRM4 and 1 ton for SRM2. So the best way to do this is to mount all SRM4s. So that's what I like to do, is I mount all SRM4s. So you fire 20 missiles in 1 round. So a good amount of ammo would be 2 tons, because each ton of ammo gives you 100 rounds. So that'll allow you to fire 10 rounds of Alpha Strike, a full salvo. You can go 10 rounds, and everything should be dead by the time, if your mech survives, everything else should be dead by the time you get to 10 rounds. I've never ran out of ammo with 10 rounds of full salvo ammo. So then next, you want to look at your heat efficiency. So heat efficiency 2 is really low. You don't want that. Heat efficiency 1, 2 is just too low. You want at least 3, and ideally 4 more. So let's go to equipment. Let's add a heatsink here. So that makes you heat efficiency 3. Heat efficiency 3 will allow you to fire your Alpha Strike, your full salvo, I think twice before you take heat damage. Whereas heat efficiency 4, I think in general means you can fire 2, maybe 3 times before you take heat damage. So ideally you want 4 or more, because your mech is not going to die in 1 or 2 turns. Not if you have a good amount of armor, and not if you play it right. So you want to be able to fire that full salvo for first 3 turns or whatever. Because if you fire 1 round, like if you have 1 or 2 heat efficiency, you fire 1 round and the next round you have to sit and wait for heat to to cool down, then you kind of lose efficiency. You don't want that. So this is pretty good, pretty ideal. Now, what else can you do? Well, we're talking about a 55-ton mech. 55-ton mechs and below use jump jets that are small. Small jump jets are half a ton. If you have a 60-ton heavy mech, you use 1-ton jump jets, like the quick draw. It's uses 1-ton jump jets. So with the Kintaro, you need 5 of these jump jets in order to fully fill it out. So it won't take any more jump jets, because 5 is max. So these jump jets will allow you to maneuver to wherever you want. It'll allow you to jump your max range, giving you a tremendous amount of evasion, and allow you to face any direction. And so you can jump right into water, fire, and cool down. And it's something that's really, really useful. Jump jets, especially max jump jets. You can fly right into the woods and get that 25% damage reduction, and launch missiles at your opponent. It's pretty good. It's really good. It's really worthwhile. So in doing this, you do lose some heat efficiency because your jump jets use a lot of heat. But should you just run up to them, just walk up to them, you use more normal, you can still do your full salvo like several times. It's only if you use your jump jets that your heat efficiency will actually go down. So this is actually still a 4, but we have a problem. We're overweight by a 4+ tons. So first of all, let's reduce our armor. So like I said, you can reduce your leg armor. I'd say 95 is pretty good, pretty decent. Even if you take an AC-20 hit to your leg, you will still have 60 points of structure left. So that's pretty good. You won't get knocked down right away. So here, let's go down to 50. Let's go down to 55. Let's say, well, how about if we go down to 45 here and 55 here? So I like to be able to take one PPC hit in the back. So this should be enough. Sure, you're going to lose some structure, but hopefully you won't even take a single hit in the back. Now we have 8 more tons we need to get rid of. So I think getting rid of an SRM4 is worthwhile. Sure, you're going to lose 32 damage, but you need the weight. I would not want to sacrifice the jump jets. I mean, you could decide, oh, I don't want jump jets, I'll just have the extra firepower. That works too. But in this case, I think it's worth it. It's worth it to get rid of the single SRM4 and a single heatsink to get the SRM4 to get the jump jets, to keep the jump jets. The jump jets just gives you a lot of options and give you a lot of evasion. I think it will end up saving you a lot of damage. Like it'll end up allowing you to evade a lot more damage and allowing you to be more opportunistic, to be able to take advantage of opportunities that you would not be able to take advantage of without jump jets. So therefore, this is the build that I would go with the Kentaro. This is pretty ideal build. This heat efficiency is slightly lower than I would like. So if you use your jump jets, you'll only be able to do your salvo twice, but you can still walk. You can still just do your normal move and fire your full salvo like 3 times, I think, and without overheating. So after this, you go to save, you hit save, and here is your mech with your Kentaro. Let's go check it out. Here's your Kentaro with your 4 SRM4s and 2 medium lasers, 5 jump jets, and a single heatsink. It has 1,000 armor, so that's pretty good. And it has very good firepower 5, and it has really good movement 7, and I think it'll if you use this build, you can't go wrong with this build. Now I've also made a Kentaro with 5 SRM4s and no jump jets, and that can work too. It has worked fairly well for me, but there were times when I wish I had the jump jets though. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.